Good morning, class. I'm Mr. Nalangit, your teacher for today. So, before we start our lesson, we begin with a simple prayer. So, anyone from the class who can lead our prayer for today? So, let's bow our head and feel the presence of God. Amen. You may take your seat, everyone. So, before we start, I check the attendance. Say present if you're here. Wow, nice. There's no absent for today. So, how's the day of everyone? Is there any problem? You can share it to me. So, before we start, we do a recap of what our lesson yesterday. So, anyone from the class who can volunteer to cite what the lesson yesterday? Oh, nice. It's all about measuring tools, equipment, and ingredients in general. So, before we start from the lesson proper, I ask who student who eat their breakfast before going school? Wow, nice. Everyone who eat it. Can I ask what kind of breakfast did you eat? What kind of bread? Wow, pandesal, nice. So, our lesson for today is all about pandesal making. Our topic for today is all about pandesal. So, pandesal was very popular here in Philippines, especially in breakfast meals. So, pandesal was influenced by Spanish when they colonized us 300 years ago. So, pandesal known as salt bread. In English, bread of salt. So, because one of the main ingredients of pandesal was salt. So, here's the recipe or ingredients of pandesal. First, we need to activating the yeast with 1 tablespoon of active yeast, 1/4 cup of warm water, then 1 tablespoon of sugar. Sugar as a food of the yeast. Next, we go into dry ingredients. Dry ingredients first was 4 cups of flour, bread fried to be specific, 1/2 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 cups of bread crumbs. Liquid ingredients were 5 tablespoons of lard, 1 and 1/4 cup of milk, 1 cup of water, 1 large egg, and 1 teaspoon of oil. So, our topic is all about pandesal. Pandesal was known in the Philippines as a breakfast meal. While then, everyone was very innovative and experiment on what will be the new taste of pandesal. Some of bakeries innovated by putting malunggay, ube, and etc. Especially in fillings, they experiment a lot of fillings like pandituna, pandekeso, and everything. So, our main ingredients in making pandesal was bread flour. Bread flour in the 3 types of bread. Bread flour was very rough in texture, orangey in color, then it has a strong gluten formation. Then, who has a question about bread flour? Good question. So, what if the bread flour wasn't available in the baked products or specifically the workplace? So, we think about the substitution of all-purpose flour. So, from the word all-purpose, it has an ability or versatile flour. So, you can substitute it from the cake flour or the bread flour. So, as if we need to knead or form the gluten strong, because the gluten ability of all-purpose is average than to bread flour. So, I hope I answer your question good. So, going to the next ingredient, which is the very expensive ingredients among all baked products was egg. Egg is a very expensive product among some of the baked ingredients. So, in baking ingredients, because one at a time, we use it one at a time. So, if you wrong or if eggs hasn't damaged, so you can directly trust. You cannot use all again. Next was the cheapest ingredient, which is the water. You can get it everywhere. So because our earth had a large part of water. So anyone from the class has a question about next two ingredients, which is eggs and water. Going to the next ingredient, which is the fat, or in our pandesal we use lard, the cow's milk, the cow's fat. It's very organic and it helps the gluten to form easily and compact. Then next ingredients was salt and sugar to add aroma, flavors, and texture in the bread. So anyone from the class who has question about next two ingredients, which is the lard and the salt and sugar? Wow, nice. So good question again. What is the substitute for the lard if lard wasn't available in the market? We have a different fats we use in baking. But for me as a teacher, or for me as I experience, that I use chilled oil or butter. Butter was expensive, but it helps and gives the best performance or best baked product. It helps to improve aroma and textures and gives creaminess in the baked product. So now we are going to the next ingredient, which is the leavening agent. In baking, we use active yeast. Active yeast is a biological ingredient used in baking. So it is active or living. So from this procedure, we use activating the yeast. So as activating the yeast, we need to get a warm water, not so hot, not so cold. We need to warm water. Then we need a sugar. Sugar stands for the food of the ingredient. So the yeast will be active and expand double in size in the baking. So next from the class was a question about yeast, lard, and milk product. Question about those ingredients. So nice. So thank you. So going to the procedure of making pandesal, we are need this. First, we need activating the yeast. We need a glass of warm water and put the yeast inside of glass. Then stir it before we going add gradually the sugar. Then set aside. Then preheat the oven into 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Then proceed to the procedure in making the dough. First, we need to sift the dry ingredient, flour, salt, and sugar in mixing bowl. Then after we sift and mix it and combine all the dry ingredients, we need to make a hole inside or the center of the dry ingredient. Then add all the liquid ingredients, especially the milk, lard, oil, and egg. Then after we need it, the heel of the palm, we need it to knead, the kneading process. Then add gradually the gluten if needed to form easily the gluten and to form the dough in the round, big dough. Then after we round, we get a mixing bowl, then set aside inside the mixing bowl the dough. And the dough, cover it with a damp towel or wet. So after we proofing the dough, we are need to punch it so that the air will compact, or the dough will compact each other. So for 30 minutes. Then again, round it the dough, then place again in the mixing bowl, then cover it with wet towel. Then again, proceed to the rolling or flatten the dough with using of rolling pin. After we flatten the dough, we round it, or the mahaba, the long form of, so we need to easily cut out the dough in the round, or the round circle. After we round, we dip it into breadcrumbs, then place it into the grease pan with flour, then organize. Then set aside for almost 2 hours in the storage glass. Then we put into oven with 300-degree Fahrenheit, the preheating oven. Then after that, if we see that the dough was achieved the golden brown color, then we need to release it, then cool it, or maybe serve it with a partner of coffee. So here's the procedure in making pandesal. So I give 5 minutes to review the ingredients and also the process. So I give the short quiz about that. So done the 5 minutes review. So prepare 1/4 sheet of paper and a pen. So we start the quiz. Number 1. What is the cheapest ingredients in baking? Number 2. What is the most needed ingredients in baking? Number 3. What type of flour did you use in making pandesal? Number 4. What type of flour did you use in substituting the bread flour if bread flour wasn't available in the market? What is the weakness flour in baking? We use it as soft bread products such as cake. Next is pandesal was named in Spanish of. These ingredients is used in seasoning the baked products. Next, it's used to roll out or flatten the dough. 11. Use it to mix all the ingredients easily. It is the machine that uses ingredients easily. Number 12. The most expensive ingredients in baking. Number 13. Used to cut out the dough before it roll or round. 14. To measure all the liquid ingredients. Number 15. This is the hot equipment in baking. Pass your paper forward, then I check it. So, wow, that's great that almost everyone got perfect score here in the quiz. So, may I present to you the video of making pandesal making. So here's the video. Then any question about procedure, ingredients that we have on topic for today. So anyone from the class who can remember what is topic for today? Thank you. That our topic for today is all about making pandesal and ingredients and procedure of it. So let's give a round of applause for everyone who got, especially for those who got perfect score for our quiz. So I give the assignment. So I give the assignment for everyone about our topic yesterday. So the instruction of our assignment was, first is think about the name of the new version of Pandesal. Then to create a new version by having or adding the feelings or everything in Pandesal. Then third was post it on Facebook with a caption of laboratory number 1, name of the Pandesal, then name of student, year and session, then with the hashtag of hashtag my own Pandesal and hashtag Pandesal PDM. So, thank you class. So, before we start, can you stand up and read a closing prayer? So, anyone from the class who can volunteer the closing prayer? So, thank you everyone. So, I am Mr. Milo Manlang, your teacher for today. So, I'm so thankful that you are here and you are here, and I hope that you learn from what topic for today. So, thank you and goodbye, class.